It was a morning filled with laughter and sunlight. A baby's giggles echoed through the cozy living room, and beside him, his loyal puppy barked in joy. They were inseparable, partners in every tiny adventure. Their favorite game, tug-of-war with a bright orange pumpkin toy. Every pull from the baby made the puppy's tail wag faster. Every little giggle made the home feel alive again. The mother would often pause her chores just to watch them play. She would smile softly. They understand each other without words. It was a bond built from innocence, trust, and pure love. The puppy guarded him like a brother, slept by his crib every night, and when the baby cried, the dog would rush to comfort him. It was a picture of perfect joy until that one afternoon, the same laughter turned into something she could never forget. It started, like always, playful barking, soft baby giggles, but then a strange silence. The mother called out, "Tommy? Max?" No answer. Her heart skipped as she turned toward the living room. The toy lay still on the floor, and the dog stood frozen. Something wasn't right. Something had changed in an instant. She ran forward, her breath quick and her hands trembling. The camera in the corner blinked red, recording every second. She could never imagine what that lens was about to reveal. A moment that would test love, loyalty, and fate itself, because sometimes the smallest hearts carry the biggest courage. The sun painted gold across the curtains that day. Little Tommy stood wobbling on his tiny feet, laughing. His puppy, Max, wagged his tail like a fluffy drumbeat of joy. The house smelled of pancakes and warm milk, a perfect morning. Every giggle from the baby was music Max seemed to understand. They played endlessly. Rolling, crawling, chasing invisible dreams, Max would gently tug Tommy's socks, making him squeal in delight. The mother filmed them often, her phone full of laughter. Every frame was a snapshot of innocence the world rarely sees. Two souls, one human, one canine, sharing one heartbeat. As Tommy stumbled, Max stood steady beside him like a wall. If he fell, Max's fur would catch his tears before they could fall. They didn't need words. Their bond was carved in emotion. The puppy's eyes held wisdom far beyond his tender age. And in Tommy's giggle, Max found his reason to exist. That day began no different. Sunshine, toys, and laughter, but destiny often hides its whispers inside ordinary hours. A sound from the street startled Max for a second. He growled softly, not in anger, but concern. The baby tugged the pumpkin toy, asking Max to play again. They both grabbed it, one tiny hand, one playful jaw. The pumpkin swayed between them like a secret bridge of love. Tommy laughed louder, pulling harder, stronger this time, and Max, loyal as ever, matched his energy perfectly. The room glowed with warmth. Before fate dimmed the light, the air suddenly changed, soft, but heavy with something unseen. Tommy stopped laughing, his tiny eyes searching Max's face. The dog froze, ears up, heart pounding fast. Something outside made him uneasy. Something near the window. The toy dropped, rolling slowly to the carpet's edge. The mother heard the silence first, a silence too deep. She looked up from her coffee, confused, uneasy. "Tommy?" she called softly, expecting another giggle. But only the faint hum of the refrigerator replied. She wiped her hands and began to walk toward the soundless room. The baby monitor blinked, its screen flickering oddly. She could see them, both still, both staring at something unseen. Max stood in front of the baby, muscles tense, tail lowered. The air felt wrong, like the calm before a sudden storm. She hurried faster, heart racing now. Her slipper slipped slightly on the floor as she reached the door. The room felt colder than before, lights dimmer somehow. Tommy looked confused, reaching out toward Max. The dog barked once, sharp. A warning, not anger. Then another bark, louder, closer, desperate. Something inside her snapped. Mother's instinct roared awake. She rushed in, scooping her baby, eyes darting everywhere. But nothing seemed out of place, or was it? The curtains fluttered, though no wind blew, and the toy pumpkin sat upright, as if someone had touched it. That night, sleep refused to come for the mother. Her mind replayed Max's bark again and again. She couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Finally, she decided to review the security footage. It was time to find out what she missed. The screen flickered, static, then clarity. She saw Tommy crawling, Max beside him, happy and calm. Then the moment, the bark. The stillness, the silence, but this time she saw what her eyes had missed. A faint shadow near the window. Moving slowly, her pulse quickened. She leaned closer. The figure outside shifted, watching, then vanished. Max turned his head toward it long before she noticed. He wasn't playing. He was guarding. The truth hit her like a storm. Max had sensed danger. Tears filled her eyes as she paused the video. Her brave puppy had been trying to protect her baby. Every bark, every push, it was love in disguise. He had seen what they could not, and he stood between them, a silent soldier, small but mighty in heart. She replayed the footage again and again. Every frame told a story words could never say. The baby smiled, reaching for Max after it was over. The dog licked his cheek, tail wagging slowly. It wasn't fear, it was relief. The danger had passed. Morning light returned, but everything felt different. She looked at Max now with tears instead of confusion. How had she doubted him? The one who never left their side. She knelt down, holding his face gently in her hands. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling. The dog leaned into her touch, tail moving softly. In his eyes, she saw devotion too deep for words. He didn't need thanks. He only needed her trust. She hugged him tightly, her baby watching with wide eyes. Even Tommy seemed to sense something sacred between them. Later that day, she secured the windows, changed the locks. No more shadows would threaten her little world. Max followed her everywhere, calm now, proud almost. His duty had been fulfilled, his heart still alert. She promised never to misjudge his instincts again. The next time Max barked, she smiled instead of frowning. She now knew every sound had meaning, every motion had care. Their bond grew stronger, carved from love and understanding. The baby giggled again, the room alive with warmth. The house, once fearful, now felt protected and whole. That night, under soft lamplight, she whispered a prayer. "Thank you, God, for sending love in fur and loyalty." Tommy slept peacefully, one tiny hand on Max's paw. The mother watched them, her heart a mosaic of gratitude. This wasn't just a pet. This was family. In that quiet glow, she realized something eternal. Love doesn't always speak. Sometimes it barks, courage doesn't roar. Sometimes it simply guards in silence. Max had taught her what trust truly meant, and in that lesson she found peace again, The world outside may still hold shadows,
Unseen dangers, but inside that home, light had returned stronger than ever. A baby's laughter.
a loyal heart, and a mother's love united. Because sometimes one faithful soul is enough to change fate, and this time love had truly saved a life. The house slept, but the mother lay awake, watching. Moonlight painted silver halos across the baby's crib. Max rested nearby, his chest rising slow, calm, proud. Every soft snore from him was a lullaby of safety. She smiled. Their guardian angel wore fur, not wings. Her mind replayed every giggle, every bark, every blink. She realized love doesn't need language. It breathes silently. Max had been there since day one, always alert, always near. Even when tired, he never stopped listening. That's what loyalty looked like. Tireless and pure. Tireless and pure. Outside, the wind rustled the leaves gently, but this time it didn't sound threatening, only soothing. Because inside, her world was whole again. Her son's first friend had become her greatest protector. She whispered softly, "Good boy," not realizing he heard. His tail thumped once. Then again, just enough to reply. He didn't need words. He understood her heart, and as she drifted to sleep, she dreamt of laughter, of mornings where light would find them again, of a bond even heaven would smile upon. Days passed, bright,
Calm, gentle, until one afternoon a sharp knock broke the peace. The mother opened the door to a man in uniform. "Mum?"
We've been tracking reports of break-ins nearby. Her breath caught. Her memory flashed to that night. The man continued, serious but kind. One of the houses had signs of forced entry. Yours didn't. Lucky. She swallowed hard. Wasn't luck.
It was Max. The officer noticed the dog beside her, tail low, eyes sharp. "This one looks like he'd never let anyone near the baby." He smiled. She nodded, voice trembling. "He didn't. He saved us." The officer crouched,
patting Max gently. "Good boy," he said, sincerity deep in his tone. Max didn't wag much, just stared quietly, loyal as ever. Sometimes heroes don't seek applause. They just protect. As the man left, the mother closed the door slowly. She looked at Max again, heart heavy with gratitude. He had faced something dark that night, and won. Not for praise, not for reward, but for love. And in that moment, she knew he was more than family. Tommy was learning new words now, but the one he said most often was Max. Every morning began with that name, pure and joyful. He crawled to Max's bowl, giggling as the puppy ate. Sometimes he'd share his food, a tiny piece of toast. Max accepted it gently, like a promise renewed each day. Their friendship grew, unshaken by time or fear. The mother watched from afar, tears always near, because she knew one brave night had changed everything. Now, every bark sounded like love's heartbeat. When Tommy fell, Max was there before her. When he cried, Max's paw rested on his arm. The world could crumble, storms could rage, but those two would always find calm in each other. That bond, unspoken yet eternal, filled the home. Even neighbors noticed, smiling when they played outside. "Those two are inseparable," one said, kindly. And the mother nodded. Yes, they were souls intertwined, no words, no walls, just loyalty and laughter. A friendship too pure for this noisy world. It was a bright afternoon, one of those perfect days. Tommy sat on the grass,
holding Max's leash proudly. The mother filmed again, her camera full of love. "Say something for Max," she teased softly. The boy looked at his dog, Eyes wide, thoughtful. Then he said it, his first full sentence ever. I love you, Max. The dog tilted his head, then leapt forward, licking his face. The laughter that followed was music for the soul. The mother dropped the camera, overcome by emotion. She had dreamed of that moment, her child's voice.
Pure and real, but hearing his first words spoken to his Saviour, it was more than love. It was divine poetry. Max barked twice, soft, happy, proud, and the mother whispered, "He understands, baby."
He really does. Tears filled her eyes.
But they weren't of sadness. They were gratitude, overflowing, endless. Every scar of fear had turned into light. Every silence was now filled with laughter again. The world felt safe because love stood guard. Years later, the baby grew, a boy now. Max's muzzle showed streaks of grey, his steps slower, but their bond never faded. Not even a heartbeat. Tommy would still sit beside him after school.
Reading stories, sometimes he'd whisper, "You're still my hero." The mother watched.
Knowing time was precious. She couldn't stop the years, but she could honour them, so she printed a photo, baby and puppy, side by side. It hung on the living room wall, framed in gold. The caption read, "Love is not taught, it's felt." One evening, as sunset kissed the sky, Max lay beside the boy, head resting near his feet. The house was silent, peaceful, full of memories, and for one last time, Max looked up, soft, content. The same eyes that once faced fear, now filled with peace. When morning came, the house was quieter than ever. But in that silence, love still breathed. The boy held Max's old collar gently, whispering, "Thank you," and the mother placed her hand on his shoulder. "He never really left, honey.
Love doesn't die.
It just changes shape. Love is not measured by words, but by silent acts of care. The bravest hearts don't wear armor. They wag their tails, even the smallest. Soul can carry the weight of miracles. When love guards your home,
No darkness can stay, because sometimes angels come, not with wings, but with paws. Wings, but with paws.